we located multiple people that had been shot. Tentatively, it appears that we're looking at approximately 7 people that have been shot here at Maplewood Park, and at this point, 1 is fatal.
This is a tragedy, what happened here today. And that's what they are, they're cowards. Let's be very clear about that. In a park where people are having a good time on a Sunday afternoon. That's what you're supposed to do.
Good evening, Stephen. We arrived here in Maplewood Park to quite a large investigation of what we now know is a deadly mass shooting. Dozens of police cruisers from area agencies responding to help, and investigators combing the area methodically for clues. Now, again, we're told this shooting happened around 6:20 this evening at the city's historic Maplewood Park. 7 unidentified victims suffering varying degrees of injury. 1 person, described to be in their 20s, was killed, according to Rochester police. No suspects are in custody at this time. Neighbors we've spoken to in the area describing that large gathering earlier, many of them hearing what they described as sounding like firecrackers. People from inside the park then scattering into the surrounding areas. One neighbor saying she's lived here for 7 years and has never seen anything like this.
I looked up and I hear somebody yell, "He's got a gun, run." So we came in. And I was coming through the back door, and my husband looked out the front window. Well, we looked out the front window, and there were 2 kids here by our front porch with guns drawn. So, you know, it was kind of like, okay, now what?
Weekends like these put a strain on our community, our families, our first responders, the Rochester community as a whole. I continue to pray for all those affected and that we can all come together, put an end to senseless loss of life, and bring the suspects from this weekend to justice.
As I looked at that crime scene last night and saw a stroller, people's shoes, our people, our residents should be able to enjoy the summer in a park, period. But all too often, we have individuals in this community that are unmitigated cowards, that are okay with shooting women. And 2 of those women lost their life.
We had in Rochester a weekend full of violence in which far too many people lost their lives. Far too many people are fighting for their lives.
A Sunday in the park with children, families, and neighbors ending in bloodshed.
As I looked at that crime scene last night and saw a stroller, people's shoes.
A mass shooting with 7 victims, 2 of them, including a Rochester City employee, are dead.
Our residents should be able to enjoy the summer in a park, period.
The gunman still on the loose, prompting a plea from the city and police.
So once again, I'm asking our community to step up and help us to hold those that brought violence to a barbecue in a park yesterday accountable for their actions. City security had seen no indication of people being disruptive, people being belligerent. It was a barbecue.
Police say rounds were fired from multiple weapons, and 25-year-old Taisha Manning and 34-year-old Felicia Council lost their lives. Manning was an employee for the city, and flags at city buildings are being flown at half-staff in her memory.
Our people, our residents, should be able to enjoy the summer in a park, period.
City Council member Bridget Monroe represents the Northwest District, which includes Maplewood Park. She urges the community to help find those who are responsible.
Rochester will not tolerate people coming and terrorizing others. The event was a wonderful family event. I've spent lots of time in that park. I would take my children to that park. No one should be at a park or anywhere and think they're going to get gunned down.
Chief David Smith says the Major Crimes Unit is working diligently to try and solve this crime and asks community members to come forward with any information they have.
And I'm asking our community to step up and help us to hold those that brought violence to a barbecue in a park yesterday accountable for their actions.
And they were quiet. The music wasn't even loud. Usually when they have their parties, you can hear it down on the other end. They were very, very quiet.
While neighbor Shelly Strong grilled chicken at her home, hundreds were enjoying a barbecue in Maplewood Park. The quiet she describes was disrupted by gunfire shortly after 6 Sunday night.
What's happening?
I'm just so sad. Just so sad.
Mary Lou Lund and her husband were wrapping up dinner when they heard sirens go off from all directions.
It's so senseless. This is so senseless. It's just devastating.
Mary Lou spends a lot of her time reading in the park. She says the aftermath was totally out of the ordinary from what she's used to.
It looked like a scene that maybe after a big concert or something, people just abandoned their coolers and their food and their toys and their clothing. The park was littered with that. Just hearing people screaming, "Where's Mom? Where's the baby? Where's my sister? Oh my God." You know, it is just, it sickens me. It sickens me. There's no need for this.
One of the 2 women killed in the mass shooting was Taisha Manning, who worked at the Carter Street Art Center. Dr. Shirley Green is the Commissioner of Parks and Recreation overseeing the work of Taisha and her colleagues.
But what I can tell you is last week when I was there and they were doing the activity, everyone talked about how great she was and said, "I want you to meet this one because she is really a great worker. The kids love her and she loves the kids."
A community coming together in downtown Rochester, 24 hours after a mass shooting took the lives of 2 people in Maplewood Park and injured 5 others. People wearing orange to say they're sick of the violence.
We are tired. We're tired of the violence. It is nonsense, honestly, and we just want our community back.
The Vigil at Parcel 5 allowing for people to pray for peace, some in Maplewood Park before the shooting broke out.
I left church, actually stopped by the event after church, and then I went home and was home, and I was watching Facebook actually. I saw a post from a friend of mine who was a nurse who was actually there, and it's just tragic.
I was able to speak with people who worked with one of the victims, Taisha Manning, a city employee who worked at the Carter Street Art Center. They tell me that they're devastated and heartbroken by her loss, and she was loved by everybody. The community remembering her and 34-year-old Felicia Council.
I'm sure that they didn't believe at the beginning of the day that they would be saying bye to their loved ones.
Assemblymember Damon Meeks and State Senator Jeremy Cooney talking to the crowd of people huddled around the I Heart Rock sign. A clear message to the community. If you see something, say something.
It's a lot of eyes, it's a lot of ears. People know what's going on, but they want to live by this street code of no snitching, no telling on what's going on, and honestly, that's what's pulling our community down.
The community continuing to try to heal tonight after a barrage of gunfire erupted at a local park during a community barbecue Sunday. 2 women were killed in the mass shooting. City worker 25-year-old Taisha Manning and 34-year-old Felicia Council. 5 others were wounded. 13 WHAM's Carly Miner spoke with an attendee, a nurse who rushed in to try and save a victim's life.
There's a couple hundred people in the park right now.
Erica Griffin was one of those attending the barbecue on Sunday.
At first, I was just scared. I didn't even know if they were done shooting or if I was putting myself in danger by going to help. But it was just like I just physically could not leave without seeing if people needed help.
Griffin ran into some friends when the shooting began.
I knew what it was, and that's a sound I can't forget. There was somebody already doing CPR, the chest compressions, and I just came in and tried to help her with the counting and the respirations.
This video comes from a man checking in on his younger brother who was at the barbecue, arriving just minutes before the shots broke out. Tragically, as a result of those shots, 7 people were shot. 2 of them died. The victims identified as 25-year-old Taisha Manning and 34-year-old Felicia Council.
Because I was on a live feed at the time, I just dropped everything. I just dropped my phone, just dropped everything and just got to the tree. And then when I was in the tree, I was just had my back to the tree and just seeing people running and people that just came near where I was and just telling them, like, get down, come right here.
Manning's sister, Tiara, sharing this about her little sister, quote, "My sister was the sweetest soul. She was selfless and kind, so loving and genuine, always the peacemaker and life of the party. She loved children and her family." At this time, no one is in custody for Sunday's mass shooting, according to police.
These kids, these adults, they did not deserve that. They didn't deserve that at all. If you know something, say something. Tell somebody else to say something. Make an anonymous call. I don't know. Just say something.
We just ask for your comfort. We ask for your guidance, dear Heavenly Father. Most of all, we ask for your love. We ask that you give us the ability to love on one another during this time.
25-year-old Taisha Manning and 34-year-old Felicia Council were killed when gunfire erupted during a barbecue at Maplewood Park on Sunday. The women and 5 others who were wounded recognized tonight in a prayer peace walk held by the Episcopal Diocese of Rochester. People marched from the Church of Ascension on Riverside Street to Maplewood Park, calling for the violence to stop.
One of the reasons we are here as church people is to show up when things go badly and tragically, so that we can be here and tell the community we're here to pray and to work and to act to change the cycle of violence.
We begin with breaking news in the Maplewood Park mass shooting. Rochester police need the public's help finding this person they say was armed with a handgun. The Major Crimes Homicide Unit is hoping this image will lead to a break in the case. Good afternoon. I'm Karen Edwards.
And I'm Stephanie Joseph in for Matt. Authorities believe this person was there when the deadly chaos erupted on Sunday. Police say this person you see here was armed with a gun at the scene of the mass shooting.
Meanwhile, authorities are following up on leads and combing through video. 2 people were killed, 5 others wounded when the gunfire shattered a community barbecue in Maplewood Park Sunday evening.
25-year-old Taisha Manning and 34-year-old Felicia Council were killed. The surviving victims continue their recovery tonight. And then last night, a fight broke out at a vigil being held for the victims.
13 WAM's Carly Miner spoke with Assemblyman Demond Meeks, who was at the vigil and stepped in to help. Carly.
Yeah, Karen, Assemblyman Demond Meeks attended the balloon release held in memory of Taisha Manning on Tuesday, when an argument quickly escalated to a large fight. A balloon release held in Pulaski Park to honor the life of 25-year-old Taisha Manning, who was among the victims in Sunday's mass shooting.
So my thoughts, I'm a father. You know, I was there for the balloon release to support the family and support my daughter who lost a friend.
Rochester police say an argument afterwards escalated into a fight and a 22-year-old man was hurt.
I think there were some frustrations from videos circulating on social media platforms of the scene at Maplewood Park, and individuals felt that it shouldn't be on social media and were angered by that and reacted in that manner.
Assemblyman Demond Meeks stepped in to help.
When people lose loved ones, sometimes they try to make sense of something that we just cannot make sense of. And I think that what we saw last night was a lash out in anger and frustration with losing a beautiful soul here in Rochester. I was moved to do something. And doing so is not a thing of trying to be a hero, but I don't know how one can stand by and watch another human being be hurt in such a manner.
A small bouquet of flowers now sits where crime scene tape once blocked off Maplewood Park. Family, friends, and neighbors returning to the space where 7 people were shot during a cookout just days ago.
A lot of people probably wouldn't want to come back to the space.
Social worker Leslie Gordon-Ogden, part of the crowd.
People want to find peace somewhere, so to reclaim this space is to say that it's okay to be in this space again.
Gordon-Ogden responded to the park shortly after the shooting happened on Sunday evening. 25-year-old Taisha Manning and 34-year-old Felicia Council were killed. 5 others were injured. Now, Gordon-Ogden...
I want to offer my sincere condolences to the family. We are here. We're standing with you. I personally feel you. I understand your pain. We're here in support. and we're here to offer support.
Reverend Myra Brown organizing this meeting, hoping reclaiming and sanctifying the park will help move the community forward.
I hope they take away that we are in this together and that, you know, a community has great power to share love with each other, to strengthen each other.
Gail Burks leaning on her faith as she reconciles with what happened.
We are hearing from Felicia's family as they struggle to navigate life without her. 13 WHAM Stephanie Joseph spoke with her father and her cousin who say her death just does not feel real, Steph.
Yeah, Karen, Felicia's father Alex tells me he never thought he would have to bury his daughter, especially to the senseless violence that happened on Sunday. The family of Felicia Council trying to cope after she was taken from them too soon.
That's my baby, and I miss her so much. I miss the things that we've done. I just miss seeing her, you know. I just don't know. I mean, I really don't have an idea right now. I'm going to move forward with this.
It's heartbreaking. Everything hurts. My whole being hurts.
Felicia was one of 2 women killed at the Maplewood Park Mass Shooting. It's a day that her cousin Renaya says she will never forget.
The crime scene, it was so bad. It was so much going on.
When the gunfire erupted, she was at work and rushed to the scene.
I got to see her alive, you know, and I touched her and I told her to look at me and she looked at me. She wasn't able to, you know, be very verbal, but I thought she was just in shock.
Felicia died hours later, her father finding out while living hundreds of miles away.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, to hear that all the way in Florida, and I wasn't there, it's like, it's horrible.
Loved ones remembering Felicia as a selfless person who would give someone the shirt off her back if they needed it. Even as a young girl, she actively supported others.
Somebody was bullying them or mistreat them or somebody who was just alone. Police would gravitate to them, you know, and help them.
She was thoughtful. She was attentive. She was caring. She loved her family.
The Major Crimes Homicide Unit just releasing photos of 2 more men they say were armed with guns at the scene around 6:20 p.m. July 28th when the gunfire erupted. Police are trying to identify these people. Rochester police also still seeking the public's help identifying this man who they say was also armed with a gun at the park when that shooting happened. Police have not called any of these people suspects. They do say you can remain anonymous and are asking anyone with information on any of these photos to contact Major Crimes at 428-7157.
Nearly 1 month later and still no answers.
The killers haven't been found yet. And me as a father, I don't want this to get desensitized or go to a level where it's not important anymore.
Now, Alex is putting up an additional reward to help find those responsible.
My goal is to raise at least $10,000. The fund is right now at $2,500. So the goal is to raise the money so we can keep things in the light and keep things active. Because no parent should have to go through this.
Rochester police have released a number of photos of men armed with guns at the scene during the shooting, but they have not yet been called suspects, and nobody is in custody at this time. Alex says he wants to see this investigation wrap up as soon as possible.
It's so frustrating that nobody has been caught because we got pictures, we got people with guns, and nobody's been caught, you know. And it's frustrating, you know, but I'm being as patient as I can.
RPD Captain Frank Umbrino announced the investigation is ongoing into who shot 7 people, murdering Taisha Manning and Felicia Council. Now they're asking for the public's help as they search for 20-year-old Niger Johnson. Johnson is not accused of shooting any of the victims, but is wanted for reckless endangerment and criminal possession of a weapon for his alleged actions at Maplewood Park on July 28th.
She probably was going to text me when she left the event. But instead of me getting a text from her, got a phone call. You know, that she was shot. To hear my baby girl was laying on the ground, it's tough.
It's very challenging. You know, we have to be able to prove that this gun struck this victim. And we have to be able to prove who had that gun in their possession at that time and was firing it.
Investigators say they've identified 6 9mm, 2 .45 calibers, and 1 .40 caliber handguns. In total, police say 16 people were in the park that afternoon with what appears to be handguns.
In total, there are between 40 to 50 gunshots that were fired from at least 9 different handguns that afternoon.
The family of Felicia Council still mourning.
To lose a child is the hardest pain you could ever have, because you don't plan to bury your child. You plan for your child to bury you.
Finally getting a little bit of closure.
Man, I woke up this morning and I got the call and I was like, wow. And words can't explain. Words cannot explain how I feel today.
Rochester police arresting 21-year-old Niger Johnson, the first public arrest in the Maplewood Park mass shooting that killed counsel and 25-year-old Taisha Manning and injured 5 others.
And earlier this morning, members of the task force executed a warrant at Johnson's grandmother's house in the 800 block of Arnett Boulevard. Officers located Johnson inside the house and safely took him into custody. Johnson is currently in the Monroe County Jail.
RPD released his picture 3 days after the shooting and named him a suspect in mid-September. Police say Johnson fired a gun during the incident but is not accused of shooting any of the victims. Mayor Malik Evans saying this is a step in the right direction, but there's still work to be done.
We need to make sure that they know that there will be no safe place for them to try to hide. They need to be brought to the light. But more importantly, they need to be able to be brought to justice.
Alex says despite the lengthy ongoing investigation with very few answers, even a small step in the right direction feels huge.
It's been a while. 6 months, it seems like eternity. And it just, it's just been very heartbreaking when you don't know, when nobody has actually been captured. I know my daughter can't come back, but you want that justice.
21-year-old Niger Johnson pleaded not guilty to criminal possession of a weapon and reckless endangerment earlier today. Johnson, allegedly shown here, is the first to have been publicly identified and charged months after the deadly mass shooting which resulted in the deaths of Felicia Council and Taisha Manning. Rochester police arresting Johnson Friday morning at his grandmother's house on Arnett Boulevard in the city. A Rochester City Court judge noting a prior weapons charge set bail at $25,000. While Johnson is now in custody, police are still searching for more people connected to the shooting.
Number one, we don't believe that he fired the shot that killed either one of the victims. But the act itself of firing a gun in a crowded park like that is what substantiates the reckless endangerment.
We did reach out to the conflict defender's office, which represented Johnson in today's arraignment. We have not heard back. Johnson is due back in court next Tuesday.